Week 1 of Dana White's Contender Series, and guys, I love this time of the year. Time to break down some prospects, get some new blood in the UFC, possibly, and maybe see some really fun fights. Because a lot of these guys fight their heart out because, well, they're right in front of the boss and they got a chance at a contract to get to the UFC. This is going to be great. But I will say, this matchup here is the one with the most unknowns on the entire first week of Dana White's Contender Series, because we got a guy coming in 3-0, which you're like, okay, that's, 3-0, it's a good record. Yeah, obviously he hasn't lost, but we don't know much about it. He has a kickboxing background. We're going to cover that, don't worry, but, 3-0. We don't know much about his MMA game. He's going up against a guy with more than 3 times the fights. Dude's got 10 fights as a pro. This is wild. So let's break this fight down, shall we? It's a middleweight matchup between Lucas Fernando and Cesar Almeida. So for Almeida, the 3-0 is just in pro MMA. He has an extensive kickboxing background, and as you may or may not know, I'm sure everybody already knows this, if you've already looked it up, he has 3 fights against Alex Pereira in kickboxing, where he won 1 of them and lost 2, and I believe all 3 of them were decisions, if my memory is correct. So 1-1, lost 2 to Pereira. Good fight to, good fights to have on your record, especially for a, kickboxing match. But this is MMA, so that's a bit different. For Fernando, he's a good striker in his own right. Solid striker, I would say. Let's break him down first. He's 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Very talented striker. He's got one of the faster jabs I've seen at middleweight. So that thing comes out like lightning, and then after he stuck you with that jab, he'll start throwing that 1-2. Also very, very fast. He has a very nasty calf kick. He starts landing those calf kicks, and guys start walking funny after the first calf kick. Very impressive, and he works guys' bodies very well with both kicks and punches. He's a very solid striker, and honestly, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but he's going up against a high-level kickboxer. Yeah, but this is MMA, and the striking is different, and I think that Fernando is a really good striker, and he can strike with a guy like Almeida. Now, when it comes to the grappling, we know some about his grappling. He does have a good body lock takedown. He uses that pretty well, and once he gets on top, he has brutal ground and pound. The guy hits very hard. He's got pretty good top pressure from what I've seen. Most of the guys just were ready to be taken down at that point, and he was able to stay on top. There you go. But he's going against Cesar Almeida, who, like I said, kickboxing background, looked pretty good. He has a win over Alex Pereira, which is impressive. Clean combinations. When you watch this guy strike, sure, he's beaten 3 tomato cans in MMA. That's okay. He's looked very clean doing it. He works the body well. In fact, one of his wins is a body punch knockout. Looked fantastic, and he's exceptionally powerful. In fact, I think it was his first one. No, it was his most recent one. My memory's getting a little foggy on which one was first. It was his most recent fight. I think he won that on the first punch he threw, just flattened the guy. He wasn't very good, so, whatever. But dude hits really hard. Here's the thing we don't know, and that's why I just put a little asterisk here instead of like a plus or a minus. We don't know anything about his grappling. Something I want to point out that I think is very interesting. So I don't speak Portuguese, so I have no idea what he was saying. But he did an interview with a Brazilian interviewer, and you're like, why are you watching this if you don't speak Portuguese? Look, I'm just trying to get the nitty-gritty, dig deep, and find all the information for you guys, okay? I'm doing the best I can, even though I have no idea how to speak Portuguese. He was wearing a University of Iowa Hawkeyes wrestling shirt. Now, for you that don't know, if you're not familiar with the Iowa Hawkeyes wrestling, let me tell you this. They're one of the better wrestling programs in the entire United States. They have some of the best wrestlers come out of there. Very talented. Like Penn State, you got Mizzou, you got University of, there's so many. There's a lot of good ones. Oklahoma State, whatever. All those, anything in the Midwest is typically going to be pretty good wrestling. But I'm just saying, for example, don't get offended if you're a fan of the other. University of Iowa has some darn good wrestlers there. And he's wearing one of their t-shirts. He's not from Iowa. Clearly the guy's been training with them, folks, or at least that's what it appears to be for me. If you guys know something, please let me know in the comments if you know something. Maybe this dude's going to come out there with the wrestling shoes on and look like a champion. Or we get a nice kickboxing matchup and somebody goes to sleep. This matchup has a lot of unknowns. It's really tough to make a pick when you just don't know a bunch. And I know that always sounds like a cop-out, whatever, he's taking the easy way out. I'm going to make a pick. Don't worry, it's what I do. But it's a tough one to call, and it's probably the least confident just for the fact that I don't know on the entire card. It's least confident on the card because we just had no idea here. In the striking, either guy could win. It's going to be a fantastic fight. For me, I'm going to lean the Lucas Fernando side. Experience. We know that he can grapple, at least pretty well. We know that he can strike. He's done well there. Proven against high-level competition in LFA. So for a guy like Fernando, I think he's got to be the pick at this point. And it's not because I think Almeida's bad. We don't know enough. So I'm going to take Fernando as the safer pick. I know he's a pretty big favorite, and rightfully so. Like I said, he has more than 3 times the amount of pro MMA fights as Almeida. Let me know what you guys think, though. Do you think Almeida's going to be the real deal? Do you think Fernando's going to go in there, use his grappling, and make it look easy? Do you think that Almeida's been doing a heck of a job training with them folks up in Iowa and getting the wrestling in, come out, shoot a double leg, and finish the fight there? What do you guys think? Hey, like the video on your way out. I appreciate y'all. Drop the comments with your opinion, and I'd love to hear from you. I'll see you soon.